Welcome back to What if the most valuable coin you've ever touched wasn't made of gold, wasn't locked inside a museum, and wasn't owned by a billionaire collector? What if it was a quarter, a simple quarter, law coins, World Washington quarter, $1998 coins, the kind that disappears into vending machines, parking meters, coffee shop tip jars, and couch cushions every single day? Now imagine discovering that one seemingly ordinary coin could be worth more than a luxury home, more than a fleet of sports cars, or even more than some people's entire retirement savings. It sounds unbelievable, yet stories like this continue to emerge from the fascinating world of coin collecting, where tiny details can create enormous value. Today, we're uncovering one of the most intriguing modern coin mysteries circulating among collectors: the elusive 1998 mint mark Washington quarter. Most people see 25 cents. Collectors see opportunity. Most people spend it. Collectors inspect it. And that difference in perspective could mean the difference between losing a fortune and discovering one. Before we begin, ask yourself one question. How many quarters have passed through your hands during your lifetime? Thousands? Tens of thousands? Maybe hundreds of thousands? Now imagine if just one of them possessed a rare combination of characteristics capable of transforming pocket change into a collector's dream. That's exactly why this story matters, because somewhere in America, right now, hidden inside an old coin jar, forgotten piggy bank, dresser drawer, or inherited collection, there may still be examples waiting to be discovered. And according to persistent rumors within the numismatic community, certain extraordinary specimens associated with this coin have generated discussions of values approaching $781,000 under exceptional circumstances. But what makes the 1998 mint mark Washington quarter so fascinating? Why do collectors continue searching for it decades after it entered circulation? And what specific clues should you be looking for? To answer those questions, we need to travel back to 1998. America was approaching the end of the 20th century. The economy was expanding. Technology companies were transforming everyday life. The internet was rapidly becoming part of American culture. And at the Philadelphia Mint, millions upon millions of quarters were being produced for circulation. At first glance, nothing appeared unusual. The coins looked identical. The production process appeared routine. Everything seemed ordinary. But coin history has taught collectors one important lesson. Sometimes the most valuable discoveries emerge from the most ordinary years. You see, coins are not handcrafted masterpieces. They are industrial products created at extraordinary speed and volume. And whenever machines operate on such a massive scale, mistakes can happen. Tiny mistakes, rare mistakes, sometimes historic mistakes. Attention reset. Take a moment right now. Think about where your loose change is stored. Maybe it's sitting in a jar you've ignored for years. Maybe it's hidden inside a kitchen drawer. Maybe it's collecting dust in a garage. If you know exactly where that change is, you might want to check it after this video, because the details we're discussing are often overlooked by everyone except serious collectors. The story begins with the Philadelphia mint mark. Unlike some earlier quarters, the Philadelphia produced examples carry specific characteristics that help collectors identify their origin. The small p mint mark may appear insignificant, but in the world of numismatics, tiny details often create enormous differences in value. The real excitement starts when we examine error varieties. Error coins occupy a special place in the collecting world because they represent moments when the minting process deviated from perfection. These are the accidents that weren't supposed to happen, and when those accidents survive long enough to reach collectors, they become highly desirable. One of the most discussed possibilities involves double die characteristics. A double die occurs when elements of the design appear duplicated due to irregularities during die creation. Under magnification, lettering may appear doubled. Numbers may display extra thickness. Design details may reveal subtle but unmistakable separation. To the average person, it might look like a minor flaw. To a collector, it could represent something extraordinary. Another category attracting attention is die deterioration. As minting dies age and endure immense pressure, they begin to wear. The resulting coins can display unusual distortions, expanded lettering, and strange surface appearances. While not every example commands major premiums, certain combinations of characteristics become highly desirable. Then there are die cracks. Collectors often describe these as fingerprints left behind by exhausted minting equipment. A crack develops in the die, the crack transfers onto the coin, and suddenly, a unique feature exists that distinguishes one coin from millions of others. Some dramatic die crack examples have become legendary among specialists. The more unusual the pattern, the greater the collector interest tends to become. But perhaps the most fascinating reports involve strike anomalies. Coins must be perfectly positioned during production. When that process goes wrong, unusual results can occur. Off-center strikes, partial strikes, misaligned die errors, weakly struck sections, missing details. Each represents a moment when the manufacturing process briefly departed from normal operation. And collectors love these moments. Why? Because rarity drives demand, and demand drives value. Here's something worth thinking about. A perfectly normal quarter is expected. An abnormal quarter is memorable. A dramatically abnormal quarter becomes collectible. And a dramatically abnormal quarter combined with exceptional rarity can become incredibly valuable. Attention reset. Quick question. When was the last time you looked closely at a quarter? Not glanced at it, actually studied it. Most people never do. That's why rare coins continue slipping unnoticed through circulation. The treasure often hides in plain sight. As the years passed, another factor began influencing the market: survival. Millions of quarters were minted in 1998, but surviving examples in pristine condition became increasingly scarce. Coins circulated, coins were damaged, coins were lost, coins were melted, coins disappeared. Every year that passes reduces the number of untouched examples available to collectors. This creates an important distinction. Rarity is not always about low production numbers. Sometimes rarity is about preservation. Finding a high-grade example decades later becomes dramatically more difficult than finding an average circulated coin. That's where professional grading enters the picture. Collectors and investors rely on grading services to evaluate condition. Tiny differences matter. A coin with superior luster, sharp details, minimal contact marks, and exceptional eye appeal can occupy an entirely different category of value. The difference between average and extraordinary may appear almost invisible to an untrained observer, yet collectors notice, and they pay accordingly. Now let's discuss why some enthusiasts refer to this quarter as a ghost of the market. The term doesn't mean the coin doesn't exist. It means examples possessing the most desirable combinations of attributes appear so infrequently that many collectors spend years searching without success. Auction appearances are limited, documented specimens are scarce. Market data can be difficult to track. This scarcity creates intrigue, and intrigue creates demand. Collectors are naturally attracted to mysteries. The harder something is to locate, the more people want it. The less often it appears, the more conversations it generates. And the more conversations it generates, the stronger the legend becomes. That legend has only grown stronger as social media, online forums, and digital marketplaces expanded the reach of the collecting hobby. Today, information spreads faster than ever. One notable discovery can instantly capture the attention of thousands of collectors nationwide. Attention reset. Let's be honest for a moment. Most people treat quarters like background noise. They're tossed into cup holders, dropped into washing machines, lost between couch cushions. Meanwhile, collectors are out there examining pocket change with magnifying glasses. Who looks smarter when a rare coin surfaces? Exactly. Now we arrive at the question everyone wants answered. Can a 1998 mint Mark Washington quarter really reach values approaching $781,000? The answer depends entirely on the coin. Not every 1998 quarter is valuable. Not every error is significant. Not every unusual characteristic creates collector demand. However, in the world of elite numismatics, extraordinary combinations of rarity, condition, documented errors, and market competition can produce astonishing auction results. The highest values are typically associated with unique or near-unique specimens, coins that combine exceptional preservation with dramatic minting anomalies, Coins that collectors may never encounter again. Coins that become the centerpiece of advanced collections. Those are the examples capable of generating intense bidding wars. And bidding wars are where records are made. When multiple determined buyers compete for a rare opportunity, prices can rise far beyond expectations. That's one reason collectors remain so fascinated by hidden treasures in circulation, because nobody knows exactly where the next discovery will emerge. Maybe from an estate sale, maybe from an inherited collection, maybe from a forgotten bankroll, or maybe from a jar of spare change sitting in someone's home right now. The possibility is what fuels the hunt. It's what keeps collectors searching. It's what keeps enthusiasts studying mint marks, dates, and error varieties long after everyone else has stopped paying attention. And perhaps that's the most powerful lesson hidden within the story. Wealth often hides where nobody bothers to look. Most people walk past opportunities every day because they assume ordinary things have no extraordinary value. Collectors understand something different. Extraordinary value frequently disguises itself as something ordinary. A quarter, a coin roll, a forgotten collection, a tiny piece of history waiting to be recognized. As interest in rare coins continues growing and new collectors enter the market, competition for exceptional examples remains strong. The search has never been more active, the information has never been more accessible, and the opportunity to learn has never been greater. So before you spend your next quarter, take a closer look. Check the date. Find the mint mark. Examine the details. Study the surfaces, because every remarkable discovery begins with someone paying attention, someone noticing what everyone else ignored, someone choosing to inspect rather than spend. And if fortune happens to place one of these elusive 1998 mint mark examples in your hands, that small act of curiosity could become the beginning of an unforgettable story. A story of history, a story of rarity, a story of hidden wealth, and perhaps a story worth far more than 25 cents. But don't go anywhere just yet, because the next coin in our series may be even more astonishing. Collectors have spent years searching for it. The rare variety is almost unbelievable. The survival numbers are rumored to be incredibly small, and some experts believe examples may still be circulating unnoticed throughout America today. Make sure you're subscribed, because in our next episode we're revealing another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person to discover it. What if I told you that a coin sitting forgotten in a kitchen drawer, buried in a jar of loose change, or tossed into a cup holder years ago could be worth more than a luxury mansion? It sounds impossible, yet every year, ordinary Americans discover coins they once spent without a second thought that turn out to be worth thousands, tens of thousands, and in rare cases, life-changing amounts of money. And today, we're diving into one of the most mysterious modern coin stories ever discussed among collectors. A coin so elusive, so controversial, and so fascinating that many experts refer to it as a ghost hiding in plain sight. The 1996 mint mark Monticello Thomas Washington quarter. Most people see it as just another quarter. A spender looks at it and sees 25 cents. A collector sees something entirely different. They see possibility. They see hidden history. They see wealth. Now here's the uncomfortable question. How many valuable coins have already slipped through your fingers? How many quarters have you handed to cashiers, dropped onto vending machines, or left in parking lots without ever checking them? That question alone is enough to make any collector nervous, because among the billions of ordinary coins circulating through America, a handful possess characteristics so rare that they can transform a simple pocket find into a six-figure collectible. And according to reports circulating through the numismatic community, one specific version of this unusual 1996 quarter has generated whispers of values reaching as high as $781,000 under extraordinary conditions. But what makes this coin so special? Why do experienced collectors continue searching for it nearly 3 decades after it entered circulation? And what specific details separate an ordinary quarter from a potentially historic discovery? To understand the answer, we have to go back to 1996. America was experiencing a period of technological growth. The internet was beginning its transformation of everyday life. The stock market was booming, and the United States Mint was producing millions of coins to satisfy growing demand. At first glance, nothing appeared unusual. Quarters rolled off production lines by the millions. Most entered circulation unnoticed. Most still remain worth exactly 25 cents today, but hidden among those vast production numbers were a tiny number of coins displaying unusual characteristics that would eventually attract the attention of serious collectors. The coin in question carries a Denver mint mark. For the average person, that tiny letter beneath the date means almost nothing. For collectors, it means everything. The mint mark identifies where the coin was struck. In this case, Denver. But the real story begins when unusual die conditions, striking anomalies, and production irregularities enter the picture. You see, coins are manufactured using die-massive steel tools that imprint designs onto blank metal plan case. When those dies become damaged, misaligned, overused, or develop cracks, strange things can happen. Letters appear doubled, designs shift, details disappear, unexpected marks emerge, and suddenly, an ordinary coin becomes extraordinary. Attention reset. Before we go any further, take a quick mental inventory. Do you have a jar of quarters somewhere in your house? Maybe in the garage, maybe in the closet, maybe sitting untouched for years, because the difference between a common coin and a valuable era coin often comes down to details so small that most people never notice them. Now let's look at the errors that have fueled interest in this mysterious quarter. One of the most sought-after characteristics involves dramatic die doubling. Doubling occurs when design elements appear duplicated due to imperfections during the die creation process. Under magnification, letters and numbers may appear shadowed or slightly offset. To an untrained eye, it looks insignificant. To a specialist, it can represent major rarity. Another highly discussed feature is die cracking. As dies age, microscopic fractures can spread across their surfaces. When coins are struck, those cracks transfer onto the finished pieces as raised lines. Some collectors specifically seek dramatic crack formations because they serve as unique fingerprints of a particular production event. Then there are off-center strikes. Imagine a coin entering the striking chamber slightly out of position. The result can be a design shifted noticeably away from the center. The more dramatic the displacement while retaining key identifying features, the more collector interest tends to increase. But perhaps the most intriguing reports involve unusual design anomalies associated with portions of the reverse imagery. Certain specimens have allegedly displayed characteristics so uncommon that experts continue debating their exact origins. And that's where the mystery deepens, because unlike famous era coins with extensive documentation, many examples associated with this quarter remain surrounded by uncertainty. Limited appearances, sparse auction records, few publicly verified specimens. This scarcity has created an aura unlike almost any other modern quarter. Collectors aren't simply searching for a coin, they're hunting a legend. And legends create demand. When collectors believe only a handful of examples exist, competition intensifies. The market becomes emotional. Prices become unpredictable. Stories spread, and suddenly everyone wants to know whether they might already own one. Here's something funny. Some people spend more time choosing a streaming service than examining the coins in their own pockets. Yet one decision costs $15 a month. The other could potentially uncover a remarkable collectible. That's the strange reality of numismatics. Hidden wealth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it disguises itself as spare change. The historical significance of 1996 also adds another layer to the story. The mid-1990s represent an important period in modern American coinage. Production volumes were massive, yet quality control systems still allowed occasional anomalies to escape into circulation. Today, many of those coins have disappeared through decades of use, damage, and attrition. Every year, surviving high-grade examples become harder to find. Condition, in fact, is one of the most important factors affecting value. Two coins can appear nearly identical. One may be worth a few dollars, the other may command thousands. The difference often comes down to preservation. Collectors evaluate strike quality, surface condition, luster, contact marks, and overall eye appeal. A coin that remained untouched since leaving the mint can occupy an entirely different universe of value compared to one that spent years bouncing around cash registers. Attention reset. If you're watching this and have never checked your coin collection, your desk drawer, or that container of spare change in the kitchen, consider doing it today, not next week, not next month, today. Because every year, valuable coins are accidentally spent simply because nobody looked closely enough. Now let's address the number that captures everyone's attention. $781,000. Can a quarter really be worth that much? In the world of rare coins, astonishing prices are not unusual. Exceptional rarity, flawless condition, unique errors, historical significance, and fierce bidding competition can combine to create extraordinary auction results. The key phrase is exceptional circumstances. When collectors discuss values approaching the upper extremes, they are typically referring to the absolute best-known examples possessing highly desirable characteristics. These are not ordinary circulated coins. They are the elite survivors, the champions of their category, the kinds of pieces that advanced collectors dream about owning. And that's exactly why stories like this continue capturing attention across America, because they challenge assumptions. Most people assume wealth only comes from stocks, businesses, or real estate. Collectors understand another truth. Sometimes value hides in objects everyone else overlooks. That hidden possibility is what keeps treasure hunters searching. It's what keeps collectors examining rolls from banks. It's what keeps enthusiasts studying dates, mint marks, and microscopic details under magnification late into the night. The thrill isn't just about money. It's about discovery. It's about being the person who notices what everyone else misses. And right now, market interest in rarer coins remains remarkably strong. As more collectors enter the hobby and online auction platforms connect buyers worldwide, competition for exceptional pieces continues to grow. Information spreads faster, demand reaches farther, and rare coins increasingly attract attention from investors as well as traditional collectors. That combination creates a fascinating environment, one where forgotten coins can suddenly become headline-worthy collectibles, one where yesterday's pocket change becomes today's auction sensation, one where patience, knowledge, and careful observation can produce surprising rewards. So the next time a quarter lands in your hand, don't rush to spend it. Look at the date, check the mint mark, examine the details, because somewhere among billions of ordinary coins may exist a rarity that most people would overlook without a second glance. And if that rarity happens to be one of the elusive 1996 mint mark examples displaying the right combination of errors, condition, and collector demand, you could be holding something far more valuable than 25 cents. You could be holding a story, a mystery, a piece of history, and perhaps, just perhaps, a discovery that changes the way you look at pocket change forever. But here's the real twist. The next coin we're covering may be even more astonishing. Collectors have been quietly hunting it for years, and some believe surviving examples are significantly rarer than the quarter we discussed today. The reported values are shocking, the error is almost unbelievable, and chances are, you've seen one before without realizing it. Make sure you're subscribed, because in the next episode we're uncovering another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in plain sight right now.